Hi, Christine Johnson. I'm from Mount Pleasant.
Process has been started to notify that we notified the bank that they are authorized to release it.
I mean, has St. David's offered to do the right thing and just not accept the money? Because it's,
There is, just to clarify, there is no money.
Okay, escrow, whatever. But have they decided? I mean, they could still do the right thing and say, hey, we didn't ask for this. Maybe we'll still put this sidewalk in. I mean, it sounds silly, but I mean, these guys, they might come. What happens when they want to make another addition to the cart barn or something? I mean, I'm certainly going to remember this whole thing. It's just something to think about. I think St. David should think about. But that's not why I got up here. Okay. I'd like to start out by saying that I take offense to the St. David's Golf Club sidewalk being called a sidewalk to nowhere. The Mount Pleasant neighborhood is not, it's not nowhere, it's somewhere. I live there. We're growing. We currently have approval for 17 new housing units. As you all are aware, we have a plethora of college students living there. A lot of them go to Cabrini. The kids, they walk back and forth along this road all the time. The kids from my neighborhood and some of the adults too, we walk back and forth to the library. To say that people, I mean, I know that this is not just about sidewalks, but to me, I mean, a little bit, it's about a sidewalk. And for whatever reason, St. David's does not want that sidewalk there. Well, I'm saying it gets used. Let's see. Oh, my son and I were out playing up. He was playing in the snow up at the First Baptist Church yesterday, and within 10 minutes, we saw three individual people jogging along Upper Gulf there. Okay, from what I understand, the sidewalk along Upper Gulf is supposed to be part of a link in the Green Routes network that the Board of Supervisors approved in the updated comprehensive plan. And I feel that, shouldn't we be moving towards this plan, not backwards? I'm also wondering how the decision to relieve St. David's of their sidewalk requirement is going to affect certain developments in Mount Pleasant. Specifically, we have 916 Upper Gulf Road. According to their development plan, they're required to build a sidewalk along Upper Gulf Road, coming around, wrapping around down Fairview. And not only are they required to build a curb and a 4-foot cement sidewalk, on the corner they're going to put in a ramp, an ADA-approved ramp. We have a single down on Fairview. He's required to put in a sidewalk. We have 4 twins and a single going to be built down at the bottom of Henry and Fairview. They're required to put in a sidewalk and a curb. The Mount Baptist Church, 1012 Upper Gulf Road, they're required to put in a sidewalk. What I'm basically asking is, at this point, are these people still required to put in their sidewalks? We have 2 properties, 2 developments right along Upper Gulf Road now, approved. Well, I think they're approved their development plans. I'm not sure if they're approved or not, or whether you have the escrow thing going or not. But are they required to put in their sidewalks now?
Yeah, that's a legal issue that the township will have to address.
I'm just bringing it up.
I understand.
And I want to know what makes St. David's so special? Why were they given an exception? And we're.
So let me just answer that part, because I said this in some other remarks I made. I think we've already addressed the fact that we thought the process. Can I please finish? Was less than perfect, and
oh, I understand.
Right. So we established that, but I think at the end of the day, the rationale for my decision to vote in support of Mr. Olson's motion had nothing to do with St. David's in particular. I think, as I said, I would have made the same vote were it John's Hoagie Shop or John's Barber Shop.
So
it was the view of that portion of the community that we heard from the loudest was that they didn't want a community in that area. And beyond that, there's in my mind anyway, there's an overarching policy discussion that has to be had. So if you, in an area in the township where if this particular applicant, whether it was St. David's or anyone else, was building, in this case they were building a clubhouse that was 500 yards from Upper Gulf, the north side of Upper Gulf Road, that had nothing to do with the sidewalk, that if that particular applicant hadn't come forward, would this township be insisting that a sidewalk be built out there? I think the answer to that question is no. Probably not in 5 years, not in 10 years, maybe not in 20 years. So to some of the comments Mr. Olson made and others made in support of the motion on that evening, again, setting the process aside, you know, who are we to insist that, you know, a business, a resident, anyone put a sidewalk where one was never intended? Yeah, it's out there in a comprehensive plan, which isn't a binding document. It's a visionary kind of document that wasn't intended and that the community didn't want.
I'll keep this in mind when their applications come up again. I'll make sure that they know that they don't have to put in the sidewalks. Save them some money. I don't know. I just looked at this and I thought about St. David's, and I looked at the plan, and all they were required to do was put in a simple asphalt path. I mean, not a major undertaking, no concrete, no curb, no stormwater management things at all. I mean, I watched the township put in an asphalt path up at Maisie B. Hall Park. All it took was you remove a couple trees, you grab a bobcat, throw down some asphalt, and you roll it. No, not a big deal. And I mean, overall, like this whole, like you said about the procedure and all that, and this not being on the agenda, I understand that, and I do worry about how this is going to affect. I mean, I don't know how to put this stuff, but like how it's going to affect the government, the integrity of the government, I guess. Like looking over the minutes of various committees and commissions, looking over the minutes of these meetings. This has been going on for like since 2001. And I see time and time again that the various committees, the commission, they voted to support the efforts for more trails and sidewalks as recommended in the open space plan, and to enforce the requirements for sidewalks listed in any previously approved land development plan. I mean, they all voted to enforce this. And I just blows my mind to think that you go against this. They've, you know, you have the Sidewalk Trails and Paths Committee. They took a vote when they heard that St. David's was going to come up to the Planning Commission and ask to be relieved of the sidewalk thing, and they voted to enforce this still and enforce the Planning Commission's decision. And then you have the Environmental Advisory Committee. I mean, you totally disregard what these committees, like the study and, you know, all the research they've done regarding this issue. I don't understand. I mean, we have a sidewalk ordinance. Once again, another ordinance the township doesn't enforce or can enforce. And then, I mean, why bother having a comprehensive plan? I just don't understand. Like, do you take in did you take into consideration what the other committees have done? Does this make sense? You just totally disregard everything that they've done. I mean, look at this. This is abstracts of minutes from 2001. All these are various committees and whatnot supporting the Planning Commission's decision and supporting the Sidewalk Trails and Paths Committee and the Green Trails or Open Space Plan. So, I mean, it's not just about the agenda and the procedure. It's frightening, the whole thing. Thank you.